Welcome to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe podcast. Relationship Bite is a platform for everything relationship. Mother-child relationship, father-daughter, siblings, sister-in-laws, parents-in-laws, everything you need to know about relationship. It is said that one of the most important needs of human is belonging. It simply means that relationship is as important as being human. I will be taking you on a journey of everything relationship. Join me, Wendy Ologe, every fortnight as we extract the intricacies of different forms of relationship. The positives, the negatives, the wins, the losses, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else in between. And most importantly, the lessons we will learn from them. Relationship Bite with Wendy Ologe is your plug for real life experiences on diverse relationships and how we can maximize these relationships for the best.
7 days to the No Yelling Challenge 2022, and hundreds of parents are already on board to go on this journey from yelling to calm. Do you want to finally parent with calm? This challenge is designed for you. Come the 2nd of May 2022, the International Parent Academy will be taking parents on a journey to work on their emotions and parent with calm. To join this last cohort for the year, simply send a chat to 0812 968 7040. Again, 0812 968 7040. See you in class.
Welcome to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe. And on this episode, I happen to be the host again. My name is Joy Eshimokai, and I'm your host for today. It's interesting the people we have on the show today. Today, we're going to be talking about marriage. And guess who are my guests? Welcome back to the podcast. Please, can I meet my guests?
Thank you, Joy.
Hello, Joy.
Hi. So we have the governor and his yellow wife. Please, can you do some introductions? I know that I'm just going to. So please,
all right.
Governor, you can go first. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joy, and thank you, Wendy, for being on this podcast. My name is Kunle Ologe.
The governor.
Yes, and my wife calls me the governor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my name is Wendy Ologe, and I happen to be the person being interviewed today by Joy again. Interesting.
Congratulations, you both on your 13th marriage anniversary. 13 years. 13 years being married in this climb today. First, I would like to know one thing you did in your early marriage life. One thing that has sustained your relationship for 13 years. These days, it's hard for people to sustain their relationships for 13 years. What was that one thing?
Building your marriage plan.
Yes. So that is it.
Wow.
From the beginning, before we got married, as soon as we agreed to get married, we decided to write a marriage plan.
Wow.
And that plan is what we have been implementing in the last 13 years. And I would say that is one major secret that we've had in these 13 years.
Building your marriage plan. I have a lot of questions around that. How do you build your marriage plan? How do you begin to build a marriage
So Gov
plan?
has a book on it. I
Yeah,
guess.
interestingly.
Yes. So there's the book, Building Your Marriage Plan. Which is a book that comes together with all the things that you need to plan for in your marriage and how to implement those plans. So yes, the question is, how do you build your marriage plan? You build it by sitting down together and actually planning. Yeah. And you sit down together with a pen and a paper. Or in our own case, we bought a book that we used Of course, now that technology has gone so far, you can do it on your system, on your phone, wherever it is. But the most important thing is that it needs to be documented.
Okay, what I love about this is the intentionality. Now, these days, people just go into marriage for the most, should I say, stupid reasons? Okay, now your wedding anniversary. I saw this video that completely blew my mind on YouTube about the 13 lessons that you have learned in these 13 years. Can you give us a quick rundown
of those 13
yes.
lessons? So maybe we just take it one. I take a few and then he takes a few. So
okay.
I'm going to just take the first 5 lessons. Rule number 1. Husbands, love your wives. Wives, submit to your husband. I was saying something recently, and I said that women are not mandated to love. We are mandated to submit. And if you have submitted, so naturally, that infuses. That's the God golden rule of marriage. And number 2 thing that we've learned is that patience is a necessary virtue. Over the years, we've been able to learn and also, work on it over the years. And then number 3 is effective communication is key. One of the things that we've understood about communication is that that's the bedrock of whatever it is when it comes to relationship. Yes, that's a bedrock. If you can communicate, then there's a lot that you can get, done. And then being open in your finances. This is one of the conversations that a lot of us don't want to have.
No, never.
A lot of us don't want to have. But the truth of the matter is that that's one of the things that have built our own relationship. We're sharing what we have learned and how it has helped us. A lot of the times people say, oh no, keep your money to yourself. Oh, don't let, and all of that. We've actually been able to build a system where we're able to have conversations about money as it's never a problem.
So sorry, I need to say something here. So it's not the case of my money is my money, his money is our money.
No.
Our money is our money.
It's just is a family thing. We've been able to get to a point where we're looking at finances as a family. So we call it, what do you call it again?
Building your family wealth empire.
So we look at it from that end, where
as an empire.
Yes, and we started it even by the time we were getting married. I have always worked. You have always worked. So we've always had that system where the both of us come together and say, what can we do? And the truth of the matter is, it has helped us over the years. We've achieved what a lot of people who've been married for 40 years can't achieve. But because we've been able to come together at every point in time as a unit to actually make these things work. Nobody is feeling pressured. Nobody is feeling, down and all of that. So it just works. Number 5, sex is the icing in marriage. Don't deprive each other on it. No. Okay, so sex is one tool that I know that a lot of marriages, a lot of women especially, when you do something, you just let me keep my sex to myself and all of that. So it's something that we've also learned over the years, that sex is a vital, key thing in the relationship, and it must be there, and must also be done, well, also. All right. Yes. So let's go to number 6.
All right. So on number 6, we have that marriage is a threefold cord: man, wife, and God. So I mean, you can't have marriage without God. A lot of couples try to do it on their own. You will hit a rock. So you must have God. God must be in the center of that mix. So that's our number 6 secret. Number 7, your loyalty should be first to your spouse. First to your spouse before any other human being on earth. As long as you are married, your loyalty
and the two have become one.
Yeah, so it's first to your spouse. The only other person you can be more loyal to is God. Who is not a human being anyway. So when it comes to human beings, first to your spouse before family members, friends, anybody else. Next, number 8, we have relationship with the extended family and friends should be deliberate and have boundaries. Now, you cannot throw away family and friends. Definitely, they're a part of you. So you should have deliberate ways of relating and getting your children to relate with them. However, there must be boundaries set. Yeah, you must set the boundaries. There are things that cannot be done, that can be done, and how they should be done. When it comes to family and friends, these boundaries must be set. Number 9, you need to limit assumptions in marriage. Get knowledge on the things you struggle with. Learn to ask questions and communicate. A lot of the issues in marriage also are because we assumed. First of all, we assumed that when you just get married, everything will just fall in place. You assume that your husband will behave in a particular way, your wife will behave in a particular way. You have no skills whatsoever in what it is. Marriage is an institution. Just as before you are employed anywhere, you get skills that you need. You need skills also in marriage. So you need to go in with some knowledge. And if you don't have the knowledge, the beautiful thing is that the knowledge is out there. You have books, you have courses, you have counseling. It's all out there. Number 10, have a marriage plan and follow it. That's what we started with at the beginning.
Yes.
Have it. Every marriage must have a marriage plan. If you don't have one, please, it's never too late. Draw up a plan for your marriage. In that book, Building Your Marriage Plan, there are about 13 things that you need to plan for in marriage. That's not all you need to plan for, but those are the basics that you must plan for. So let's continue with number 11.
Oh, okay. So number 11, marriage is built on principles, not just emotion.
Not love. Like you always say.
Yeah, and a lot of people would want to argue that and say, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And without principles, marriages don't work. One of the reasons why we have a lot of marriages, having issues today is that the marriage was just built on, I just feel like, and all of that. But there are principles that must be followed for a marriage to work. And a principle like being able to respect each other is a key principle. There's a principle like honor is a key principle. I say that any relationship that is void of honor is bound to crash. Whether it's a child-parent relationship, whether it's a husband-husband relationship, husband-wife relationship, or even, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, any relationship that is, is without honor, it's going to collapse. So these are some of the principles that we're talking about, and not just emotions. So you can just say, I love this person, I love this, but you don't understand the skills, like Gov was saying. He talked about skills that you would need for an institution. Marriage is an institution. That's what it is. So for that institution to work, you need principles for it to work. The next one that we learned is that one shall chase 1,000.
Again, that
and
is one
2,
thing I
we
always love.
10,000
to fly.
Oh, yeah.
Working as a team with your spouse. I say that this is the highest exponential multiplication factor ever that I have seen.
Say it.
1,000 to 10,000. Where do you find it? It doesn't happen anywhere else. Anywhere else apart from in marriage. And I said that that's God's way to actually show that the institution of marriage is one of the most important things to him. 10,000, that's a lot. It means that by the time you fuse into working with your spouse, you can do the undoable. So I say that marriage actually gives you wings to become extraordinary. It's only in marriage that you become extra. No other thing gives you that ability. Because that's the only time you can infuse with another person to be one. So you're not working on just one strength, on your strength. You're actually working on the strength, where another person comes in and it makes you extra. It's only marriage that can do that for you. And then I will let God finish the last one.
All right. And number 13 is that marriage is work and hard work. And so a lot of people get into marriage and just
they're not ready to put in the
they're
work.
not ready to put in the work. Unfortunately, this is one reason why we're having so many cases of separation, divorce nowadays, because people are not ready to put in the work. Of course, there are other reasons why we have divorce and so on. But primarily, it is because people are not ready to put in work. Because whatever challenges you are facing, for almost 90% of the challenges faced in marriages, they can be worked out if you are ready to put in the work. Yeah, but of course with the skills that are required.
And when you talk about work, in the Marriage Seal Academy that Gov runs, he runs the conclave. That's where he takes couple for 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah. And where he teaches them for those 3 months. When I saw the reviews of the last conclave and I saw some of the conversation, I just realized that a lot of us went into marriage without even knowing what we need to do. So, you see people that have been married for 13 years, 15 years, yet there is nothing to actually, that comes out of those number of years. So it's not in the number of years you've been married. It's actually in the amount of work that you put in and the kind of result.
Not how long, but how well.
How well you have actually done the work.
My God, this is some education. Thank you so much, Gov and his yellow wife. All right, so after 13 years of marriage, that's my next question. Typically, no, I see you guys. You guys are your inspiration. Really, you make anyone who is not married to want to get married. You inspire people who are married to want to work at their marriages. Now, so for 13 years, it's typical for people to lose their spark. What keeps you look like you just got married, man. When the twins are not with you, people will just think, oh, they just got married. They probably just they're still in their honeymoon. How do you keep this honeymoon stage in your marriage evergreen?
I think God would have that answer. I remember that when we were going for our 10th wedding anniversary, they actually had to pop wine for us in the plane, thinking we were going for a honeymoon. And it was pretty good. And on our 13th wedding anniversary, they came and they said, "Oh, you guys just got married." We said, "No, we've been married for 13 years."
So it truly, that secret also is part of your wedding, your marriage plan. Yes, and one thing you need to plan for in marriage is how to renew the spark, like you said, in marriage. I tell you one way that we do it among others. Once at least every quarter, we try to take ourselves out. We call it our own date night. That's our own kind of date night. And what we do is we just look for a decent hotel somewhere in town, disappear from everybody else. And we started doing this as soon as we could leave the kids alone with someone. We started doing this. We just disappear and just have a lovely night of just the two of us. We talk. Exactly. We talk, we go out, we eat, it's just fun. So marriages, sometimes the cares of life, so many things, children, it can choke and it can kill that spark. So you have to deliberately find time to disappear on your own, among other things. Yes.
And it's not just about how much you have to be able to do this. I remember that earlier on in our marriage, we would go to find the minimal hotel that we could, so that we don't have to spend a lot of money.
Like I used to tell my wife, as long as they can't beat us in the hotel.
Exactly. And sometimes we wake up and we don't have a lot of money to even eat whatever. Go and buy akara. And we come back, we eat it with bread, and we're excited. And so it's not about them. So when people say, "Oh, you guys do it because you have money,"
it's not about that.
It's not about the money. It's actually about you looking at yourself and saying, "I want to build at this." So, those times you might see us and we're in the hotel, you don't even know that we have had to eat akara in the morning, and we're excited about it. When we could afford to travel out of the country, we did. When we cannot afford to travel out of the country, we did it around, Abuja. When we can afford to take ourselves out of Abuja, we did it. So whatever it is you find.
So at every point you are in your marriage, you can afford it.
Yes. That's just it. You can afford it.
You can afford it.
You can afford it.
So it's about the intentionality.
That comes with it.
And it's also about that building, Gov. I need to buy that book.
Yes.
And I encourage everyone who is interested in building their marriage plan. And I want to ask here, is there a point, is it just before your marriage that you actually build this marriage plan? Or at some point in your marriage, you can actually go back to the drawing board?
It's actually, okay,
so can we go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I want to be more intentional about my marriage now. I want to build a plan.
So what we did,
it's never late.
No, it's never late. But what we did was, somehow I got married to him. I didn't know anything about marriage plans. But before we got married, the day he proposed to me, he had a book.
Genge.
And said, "Go." This is
it.
So we were awake through the day, night, building that plan. We spent more time building our marriage than building, planning the wedding. The wedding, we were not giving any attention to it. But we gave so much attention to our marriage to the point that we planned how to stay faithful. We planned how to
fidelity plan.
Yes, these are things that people don't talk about.
And
it's
taboo.
When it now comes to you, you say, "Oh, the devil tempted me." No, it's because you never even thought of it. You never even had a plan.
And these things can happen.
And every year, what we do is that we go back to it and say, "How far are we going?" So on our anniversary every year, we bring out that marriage plan. And then we look at it.
Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of what Bishop Oyedepo said about when he was going to marry his wife. And I asked her, I said, "Hey, this is how I'm running after God. Will you follow me?
You know,
wow.
So my husband was able to show me, see, this is my vision. This is where I'm going. Are you part of this? This is the things that I want us to do. We had a plan. We even had a parenting plan inside that plan. We were able to say how many number of children we're going to have. We were able to look at how we want to raise. We were able to look at what we're going to be eating in our home. So someone came to our house the other day and said, "Oh, people eat a lot of fruit and vegetables." I smiled and I said, "That's actually part of the plan."
It's the plan
to
actually everything.
Have the nutrition in the home that way. And that's the way we've actually been able to actually, put a lot of that down.
Wow. Whew. My son, his best quote, Daniel, is, "If you fail to plan,
you will plan
to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail."
Very, very good.
Oh, wow. And this applies to marriage. All right, so there's a lot of negative PR in the media concerning marriages, relationship, infidelity, lack of trust, dealing with in-law and all of that. How have you guys been able to navigate these issues?
Okay, so it will all eventually almost every question you ask will still fall back to
the marriage plan.
Yeah.
Gang.
So we plan for every single thing. And so before these things come up, we already have a plan. So when they do come up, we know exactly what to do, and we just go ahead and implement
Joy,
it.
we planned how we're going to actually be able to navigate siblings, navigate parents-in-laws, and in-law. We planned it.
So, I mean, it doesn't mean that these challenges won't come. When you, but the beauty about a plan is that when you have planned, when those challenges come, you know exactly
keeps you ready.
What to do. Yeah, you're ready. So you take the right steps immediately, and before you know what's happening, what will take some couples months to resolve, you resolve it in 1 hour, and you are done, and you move on with your life.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so these things are real things that are happening. I would also want to take time to talk about foundation in marriage. Beyond just building your plan, having a very good premarital counseling is so important. I mean, we were so blessed. We had our counselor from our church, Living Faith Church. Premarital counseling is a very serious thing, and I'm sure it's the same in most churches. But you see, what happens to most couples is that they just do premarital counseling as a prerequisite to getting married. So they attend those classes not really internalizing the things that are being learned. They just attend it because if you don't attend it, you don't get married.
Fulfill all righteousness.
Yes.
But we attended our own counseling
like
with all intentionality, and we had a beautiful counselor, Pastor Joel. We still see him around right now. Every time I write a new book, I still take it to him to remind him that he set us on a good course.
Oh, wow.
You know, and this helped us because we were able to discuss in that counseling everything that needed to be discussed.
And even the things that we didn't remember, he was able to put it to you to say, have you talked about
Truly,
this?
it actually helped us to build a better plan.
A better plan.
Because we started the plan before counseling, but while we were doing counseling, we were able to
see
now
other
build
areas that we needed to build.
So foundation is so important. And I tell couples, if you didn't have a good foundation, well, that's bad enough. But if you remain so, then that's terrible. So for some couples who come to me, you know, for counseling, the book sessions with me, after the first session, I just realized it's a foundational issue. What I tell you to do is to come back and do the 5-session counseling, premarital counseling all over again. It sounds funny because you're already married. Some have been married for 10 years and above, but I take them through my own premarital counseling all together again.
Start afresh.
Because if you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know.
So you need to just go back.
What you don't know can kill you.
Exactly. Go back
Wendy
again,
Ologe.
and we start from the beginning.
From scratch.
And that's,
So it's never too late to
Never.
build your marriage plan.
No, it's never too late.
This is some education. I'm getting inspired today. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Marriage and conflict resolution. So recently I saw a post. Someone said it's better to marry someone who is kind, or at least in the chaos, in conflict, you're kind to each other. Sometimes people just get mean. You're married to someone and you just get mean just because you have a conflict. You're mean to the person. How do you solve issues and not be mean to your partner? What are your hacks for couples on how to resolve conflict in marriage and stopping them from hurting each other in the process?
I think one of the major issues we have in marriages is communication gap. So a lot of people were not taught to have conversations. We grew up, so I'm a parent coach. Parents is going to come up anyway. So we grew up not being taught how to have conversations. We grew up with commands, instructions. They just tell you criticism, judgment. That made up a huge part of our upbringing. So many of the times when people are actually having conversations with people, telling them something, you hear them judging, criticizing, commanding, instead of actually having conversations. So our conversations, we don't understand connection, we don't understand communication, we don't understand conversations. So, and then we also do not understand just being able to listen. So many of the times you see that people just want to criticize. So we take all of those things to our marriages, because you cannot give what you don't have. When you get there, you only give what you have. If it's judgment and criticism you have, when there is a conflict, that's what you're going to give. But if you have conversations and proper communication during a conflict, that's what you're going to give. So if you don't have it, you can't give it. So no matter how much you love the person, if you do not have these skills, you will bring in the same thing, and of course it will make a mess. Person. You will hurt the person. And then the place of also learning honor. All right, just because you honor this person, there are some things you will not say. Not because you don't want to say it, but because there's a place of honor. So you just, you are at the point where you understand. I feel this way, but hey, I honor this person. This doesn't make it right. So you see that marriage is about principles and not about emotions. Because you can love someone and not honor them. Funny enough, you can also love someone and not know how to communicate with them. And then you end up criticizing, you end up judging,
making a mess.
You end up making a mess. So one of the first things I would tell couple is to learn communication. So we take communication classes. Even though the one we're taking this year, God has not been able to log in yet. So yes, we take communication classes, and part of what we do is to actually improve our communication. The whole idea is for us to learn every time. We're learning how to communicate better because we're not perfect at it. So every year we're learning. So when people text me, oh, do you take marriage courses and all of that? We do. Do you take parenting courses? I take parenting courses every now and then. So if we are not learning, you
start dying.
So the marriage, for you to actually build, is it how we resolve conflict today? We are resolving conflict 13 years ago.
No, things have changed.
We have gotten better at it because we've been learning how to do it better. So the place of knowledge can never be taken away from our marriage and any other relationship.
Gov.
Yeah, I mean, she's really hit the nail on the head. Communication. I've always maintained that there are three major issues in marriage. Communication, finances, and sex.
I know it like I know the back of my hand.
So if you have a command of these three issues, every other issue will be solved. And the chief of all these three is communication. With good communication, you can achieve almost everything, including resolving conflict. And I mean, she has already done a good job about it. You just need to build your communication. You just need to do that. As soon as your communication is good, you will be able to resolve conflicts easier.
So, Gov, I know you're a marriage counselor, right? You've talked about that for the better part of this interview. So you have published works, You have the conclave. Can you talk about this a little bit more?
Okay, I have 4 books right now that are published.
Yeah!
Two of them are hard copy, other 2 are e-copy.
So building your
of
marriage
course, there are so
plan.
many other ones that are coming up, but we'll get around them.
Building your marriage plan,
so
and
we
then
have,
the second one.
Yeah, we have building your marriage plan. We have 20 fun things to do with your spouse.
Okay.
Yeah, we have marriage clips, and then we have the husband manual.
That's the one.
Yeah. So husband manual for wives. That's the latest
well, I'm
one.
waiting for the wife manual.
Yeah, the wife manual is on the way. It'll soon be out also.
That one is going to be pretty voluminous.
So these are truly and the beautiful thing about our books, both my books and my wife's books, is that we make them simple to read. Yeah, we make them so simple to read so that they are practical. And that's one thing you will find in all our books. And then, of course, going further, beyond the books, we have courses in the Marriage Seal Academy that you can access online. Courses on communication, on finance, sex, conflict management, and so on. But then the one you are talking about, the couples conclave. Yeah, the couples conclave is our major program in the Marriage Seal Academy, and this is a 12-week program where
intensive.
12 weeks couples are guided on various aspects of marriage. And it's a beautiful experience for many couples. You have live classes, you have assignments, you have discussions, you have some counseling sessions, and also encompassing. And it's always a beautiful experience. We're just finishing one edition. Another edition is starting in May. Yes, and already registration has started for it. But it's a beautiful time. We have couples who, when they get into the conclave, they're already on very staggering marriages. But going through the conclave, by the end of the conclave, they've gotten redirection and they're able to start moving upwards again. So it's a beautiful time for every couple. And like we said, building your capacity in marriage, in anything in life, building your capacity, you cannot leave that aside.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can get better at it. So nobody is born with the gene of marriage. We all, we all come raw. So you need to learn how to get married, because marriage is an institution.
God, what would you say to a lot of couples these days? They are more interested in the wedding and not the marriage itself.
Yes.
What would you say to those people who are ready to pay lots of money to divorce lawyers, but not ready to work,
to pay money to learn,
to counselors, to pay money to learn, to take out the time to actually learn?
Yeah. So we are in a world of show, and because of that, the major things are neglected for the things that can be seen, that can be shown. And the ones that cannot be shown are actually the more important thing.
Exactly.
I saw a picture of an iceberg the other day, and the iceberg, what is showing above the sea is just a little peak.
Or what is
under, you see the giant mold, of ice that is actually carrying that. So that's how it is. So people focus on the wedding ceremony, and don't get me wrong, if you can afford it, have a beautiful and memorable wedding. But while you are doing that, make sure you have made plans for a marriage, a beautiful marriage, because a wedding is one day. At most, you do it for 1 week, right? So you do
worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario, you do a 1 week program, and then that's all.
That's all.
Tomorrow, somebody is going to come and do a better wedding than yours.
Of course.
So yours can never be the best. But you see, marriage is for life. If God tarries, if you on the average get married at the age of 25, 30, you still have 50 years to be married. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
So that is what you need to plan for. So you spend money for weddings, like you said, people spend millions for weddings, spend millions to get divorced, but would not spend just a little to get counseling or do a course or buy even just a book. You know, a book can change your life.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Forever.
Wendy was telling you of the number of books that we've been able to read. One book can change your life
forever.
I mean, the book may not be more than 3,000 naira, and
Might
but
not be
it
more
will
than
change.
100
But
pages.
it will change your life from nothing to
talking
$1
about
million life.
a book changing life. So Joy's book, Finding Joy.
Oh yeah, sure.
Someone read it and told me how that transformed her life from just taking widowhood, like widowhood is going to kill her, and she's finished and all of that.
Yeah.
That she just started, living this joyful finding.
Oh,
and
wow.
She's been looking for you, by the way.
She's been looking for me. I'm available.
So that's it. That's the power of a
That's
book.
the power of the book, So it's by the way,
wow.
Joy, if you're looking for that book, Finding Joy,
Yeah.
you want to go get a copy of Finding Joy, reach out to me. You can get a copy of Finding Joy.
Oh, yes. So, what would be your last words to any engaged couple who
Learn,
desire a beautiful union?
learn, knowledge. One of the biggest gaps we have in knowledge in marriages today, and even parenting, is knowledge. The more you know, the better you will do. It's as simple as that. If you don't know better, you would not do better.
Scripture says
That's
that people
what
perish for lack of knowledge. He didn't say the devil's people.
Yeah,
He said, "My
everybody.
people."
Yeah.
So the perishing that we perish is because we don't know. So the more we know, the more. So if you're preparing for a marriage, go and start reading. Go and start attending these courses even before. I wish these courses were available even before we got married.
Yeah.
They were not readily available. So we started doing some of them after. So but now there are courses everywhere. There are books everywhere. Written in the Nigerian context as well. So please, that would be my last word. Go.
What about for couples who are already married?
Yeah,
that still desire.
So there are courses also for that, and I would encourage everybody who is listening. I run the Marriage Seal Academy.
Yes.
And you can join the Marriage Seal Academy. There's a lot to learn there for pre-weds and also married couples. That's somewhere we try to share as much knowledge as possible. And
For singles as well.
And for singles, yeah. And that's the same last word that I'm going to leave for everybody. Learn, and learn.
Thank you so much, the governor and his yellow wife, for coming on the show today. I've had an amazing time with you both. And I look forward to having you again on the podcast.
I know,
Maybe on
right?
your 14th anniversary, 15th, 16th, if Jesus tarries. So I have some quick flash questions that we always have on the show.
Okay.
It's interesting. I'm saying this. Most times Wendy gets to say this. Okay. Quick flash questions. I'm going to ask you, Wendy first, then I'll ask the governor. What is your partner's favorite movie? Gov's favorite movie?
Ice Age?
Yeah, interesting.
Music?
Enya?
Book?
See Bishop Oyedebo's write-ups.
Okay. What do you call him? Where do you see your union in the next decade?
In a place where we're actually able to inspire younger people.
How many countries have you both explored together?
So maybe about 6, 7, 8. About that.
In 30 seconds, describe his best qualities.
Intelligent.
That's it?
That's it.
You still have some more seconds. He's intelligent. Oh! If you want to get married, you gotta marry an intelligent man. All right. So, Gov, now to you. What's Wendy's favorite movie?
That's a tough one. But funny enough, the other day, what's that Sisters Act? Interestingly enough, every time we watch Sisters Act, she gets excited. So I'll say that's her best movie.
Okay.
Very old movie.
Music?
What's her best music now? She loves what's that gospel artist? No, the group. Whisper it to me.
I'm trying to remember their name.
Okay, good. She
Hillsong.
doesn't know the name. Hillsong. Yeah. Hillsong. All Hillsong songs.
Yes, all these songs. You already know.
Book, why you act the way you do.
What do you call her?
Baby.
Baby boss. Where do you see your union in the next decade?
Oh, impacting lives the more.
How many countries have you both explored?
Probably about 8.
8?
Yeah.
Wow, we need to explore them.
Done some
In
in
30
Africa.
seconds, describe Wendy Ologe's best qualities.
Bold.
Intelligent and bold. I've had so much fun interviewing both of you today on Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe. Until next time, see you.
Thank you for listening to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe podcast today, where we share real conversations of diverse relationships and why they are important to human beings. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to listen to more, please subscribe to the Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe on your preferred podcast player. Share this with others, your friends and family. Post about us on social media. Leave us a rating or a review. To keep up with our conversations online, you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Podcast by Wendy Ologe, or follow my personal page at Wendy Ologe, both on Facebook and also on Instagram. You can also catch my videos on YouTube, Wendy Ologe. You can also follow us on our Parenting Academy, where I share about parenting relationships, the intentional parent. You want to learn more about us? You can simply search us out on www.wendyologe.com, or you can email us, podcastbywendyologe@gmail.com. Thank you again, and catch you next time.